So guys, it's Chris, SVT Garage, and we are back working on the Red Fire. We have got an awesome lineup of parts for this. We are going to show you them today, but this build is going to be over a good couple episodes or videos, as you want to call it.
It's kind of turned into a series at this point.
A series, yeah, because and that's a good thing, because we're going to go step by step, getting this done, getting it dialed in. The old banana. This car does sound awesome. I will give him that. We're going to go over step by step on doing this car, right down to one of the big things we're going to do is we're taking off the supercharger, taking out the intercooler. Did you buy a new intercooler, or we just
I'm going to clean that one.
We're going to clean the factory one, show you guys how that's all done, get this thing buttoned up. But right now we are working on taking the bumper off. And are we doing the install on the heat exchanger?
I'd like to.
We're going to work on the heat exchanger tonight, and we're going to show you guys how to fix the tab, the broken tab on this bumper. So real quick. Oh, and Ryan scored some awesome parts. Actually some like rare old school Cobra stuff. So let's flip this around. We're going to work on this real quick, but I do want to show you guys this table full of parts. So we have, let's start over here. We have a bunch of stuff coming up on the car. We're doing a fresh change on the, because we're dropping the transmission, we're putting a clutch in, we're putting a new catch can on it. We have the MGW shifter going in, we got brakes for it, we're lowering it, whole pile of parts here. Coming over here, Ryan, we've got the heat exchanger, we got all the new gaskets for the taking off the supercharger so we can get that thing freshened up. But
this tab's broken completely off.
It's wrecked.
Yeah. This would be a good one.
That'll be a good one, because that is kind of common. It's actually so common on the new edges, not just the Cobras, that you can get these right from LMR. But guys, Ryan did score an old school billet flow plenum throttle body here. So he saw a guy on which was
it was on the Terminator parts for sale page on Facebook,
selling some of the parts, and messaged him, and the guy was willing to separate these. So this is going to be a cool OG parts find to get this thing. Again, I don't know. I want to kind of say everything.
Do we spill the beans?
I think we do, guys. So
okay,
all right.
So this was going to be a stock upper pulley car, and then I kind of fell into a billet flow 276 upper.
Is that here yet or no?
It's not here yet.
Okay.
And then when I found that, a couple of days later, I ran into this plenum and throttle body, and I couldn't pass it up. That's like OG, old school 2005 build.
Circa 05. Like this was like, again, this is the hot parts to have back in 05.
So then I messaged Kevin Dunn, who does all my tuning, and said, hey man, I think I'm going to do an upper pulley on the car. What do you recommend for fuel? And it kind of turned into, it went from, oh, let's do a BAP to, oh, let's just do a, maybe the lethal budget return system with some twin 465s, FIC 1000s, and E85.
So that's essentially what the car is going to be getting here. Again, after we get this stuff done, we got a whole whiteboard full of stuff that we got to do. We're going to be working on the Fox soon. You guys hopefully saw that video drop. We got to get all this done on the Red Fire. But this is going to be pretty much a upper pulley only 276 E85 car. And wow, that's on there.
Yeah.
We are going to call this, we're ballparking the horsepower on this to be somewhere around 500. With E85, of course.
Yeah.
Upper pulley only, no bottom. We're going to leave the factory cold air on there and see what these things did with just some E.
Yeah, just some E and a 276 upper.
276 upper. So
Kevin seems to think we can hit 500 wheel relatively easy on E.
So, I mean, if he's thinking it, I say we do it.
Yeah.
And that'll be an awesome video. If you guys are looking for 500 horsepower out of these things, we're gonna put that to the test. But
not doing a lower, don't want to deal with the heat soak that comes along with that.
Because he is going to keep it the factory.
The car will never see a twin screw. There's no reason. My silver car's already.
Yeah, you already got the power there.
Yeah.
We're going to pause this here, and we're going to get this front bumper off. I'm going to give him a hand so he doesn't scratch nothing up. So stay tuned. All right, so we're taking down the heat exchanger right now. Drained the lines, got that all the coolant out of it, and right now, what size was that? An
8mm, yeah.
8 mil on there. Taking off the bracket. Oh, also, guys, do not throw these brackets away.
Yeah,
these are worth
a lot of money.
A lot of money, $500-600 just for the bracket without any heat exchanger. They're just they're expensive and they're hard to come by.
Are we going to use this on the Bronco?
That one, I'd like to.
Yeah,
you cool with that?
Yeah.
So we're going to repurpose that heat exchanger, not the bracket, but the heat exchanger. We're going to put that on the Torque Tech Bronco, which again, we're going to get still moving on that one too. But we're going to go ahead and get the new heat exchanger on, which is an Afco.
LFP.
It is an LFP. Oh, well, you got the Afco on the
Afco's on the silver
car. So I take that back. Afco here, Lightning Force here, and we are working on getting these rivets out of the bracket so we can get the new one here.
Actually, those are going to stay the way I'm doing it.
Oh, you're not going to take them off?
No.
Okay. So we'll go through how we're going to fix that. I thought you got a new one of these.
No, I'm doing it a different way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that back then.
Yeah.
That's news to me. So we're getting this off, get the new one installed, show you guys how to do that, and this is an easy job. And then we'll get this the bumper here repaired.
Bro, I'm gonna have to paint this.
All right, guys, so where we're at right now, we took the bracket off, got it all kind of cleaned up, wiped down, we scuffed it a little bit, and we're just taking some like low gloss, some engine enamel here, and just cleaning this up to get it on there. And again, just I'm not trying to make it look perfect, just again clean it up. It had a little rust on there, but first coat's on. For you guys that don't know, we'll do a quick tutorial. When you're putting a base coat on anything, don't go heavy. You kind of just want to get enough so that when you're going for the second, third coat, you have a good base coat to stick to. So again, we're just going to come in here and just hit it nice and easy, nice and light. You want to be back about 6 to 8 inches, and then I'm going to go around the whole thing and do the same thing. Every 15-20 minutes, come in and put another coat until we're at like 2 or 3 coats. So get this cleaned up, and we have the obviously the heat exchanger off. We're going to fix these tabs and then come back and forth, but we'll get everything set up right now to show you guys how to fix these without buying a new one of these. So I guess I'm going to learn something today too. So.
All right, so I've talked to a few people, watched a few videos. It seems like the way that these have been being fixed efficiently and effectively, you basically set it in here where it originally was, and then you're going to drill holes. So 1, 2, 3 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ish. Once the holes are drilled, you're going to put a JB weld or a seam sealer, any kind of epoxy on here, put it back up in here, and then you're going to put rivets in. So the couple of videos that I watched, people doing it, riveted here, and then a couple rivets here. And between the rivets and the seam sealer, or the plastic weld, whichever one you use, said you can use either one, it will bond it back to there.
Okay. Well, so, I mean, now that you explain it like that, that seems...
And I'm tempted
like a good choice
to put a couple rivets on the other side, to add a couple rivets
to maybe strengthen it up.
Just so, yeah.
Okay. Because this one here, guys, it's not broken. But what he's saying is he's going to come in here on this side. We'll clean this up, put a couple new holes in here, and maybe just add a rivet or two to keep this from breaking in the future.
Yep.
But if you guys are careful with the cars, probably don't have to do that. How this happens, I don't know. I've never personally broke one on any of my cars, so how these get broken, other than being in an accident, I'm not sure. But this has no damage on it, nothing like that. So we know this wasn't in an accident. And again, underneath the car, I mean, there's no damage there. So it could have just simply got
careless. It's probably just carelessness.
Yeah, I mean, and
from the old owner.
And those happen, the guys, he's up there in age and who knows. But we'll start, we're gonna get our tools put together, get the size drill bit that we're going with, and then we'll pick this back up.
You want to be careful here so that you don't puncture through the side of the bumper.
Right, and then also too, start the bit slow and get it to bite before you kind of start drilling through, because you don't want that bit to walk up and then now you're painting or repairing the good side of the bumper. So he's coming in slow. If I can get this to focus on that a little better. And again, take your time with it. Obviously, your bumper is kind of, if you're doing this, it's already damaged. So, you know, you don't got to sit here and try to baby it, but you don't want to cause too much extra damage to where you are trying to fix something else. And the bit he's using is a 5/32, but what you're going to have to do is match the bit to what size rivet you're going with. Make sense?
Yeah.
And what product did you go with for the seam sealer?
I went
with the JB Weld or
plastic weld.
The JB plastic, which is really good stuff, guys. That's a two-part. I think it's a two-part epoxy, right?
Yeah.
So that's a two-part epoxy. If you guys haven't used that before, that is legit. Yeah. It's plastic when it's dry. I mean, it's
so the reasoning behind, you're only putting a couple rivets in here, and the reasoning for the multiple holes is so that the JB Weld will key into those holes.
Correct.
And
it'll fill in those holes.
Fill in those holes.
And essentially bind.
I want to put one more here.
It'll bind your bracket to that hole.
Just take your time with this.
Also be careful if you just jam that.
Oh, you go right through the bumper.
And it go in your finger. So just be careful doing that as well.
So then from here, we'll set where we want it. And that's why I think it's better to use the old one with the tabs so you can get the alignment.
You can get exactly where it should be.
And then we're going to select a couple holes that are pre-drilled and then drill into the metal.
So you want me to hold that while you come in and mark the holes?
Yeah, I'm just going to touch it with the bit just to mark it.
Mark it with the bit, and then
we'll take it off and drill it up on the bench.
Tell me where you want it.
It's probably good right there.
All right.
Check it. Marked?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Hold on, make sure we're
back up. Ish.
I want to make sure it's like exactly where you had it before. I think right there should be good.
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna go here.
Yep.
I'm gonna go here.
Do one more in the corner here on that middle tab. Yeah,
right
that one. Yep, I would do that one too. Oh, there you got 4.
All right, let's check them.
There you go.
All right, now we're gonna take this to the bench and we'll drill this out over here.
Put it on the vise.
Vise, yeah.
So, if you don't have a vise in your garage, it's probably one of the most underrated tools you could have. They really do come in clutch.
Of course, this isn't just any vise.
Oh,
it's a 1960s Craftsman that I bought that was fully restored. And
you restored it, right?
No, I bought it restored. And then I did repolish it recently, but it's already starting to rust again. I need to put like a clear coat on it. So
let's get up in here.
I don't want to. This bit's not cutting it.
Also, what he was doing is he was grabbing some pliers here to hold that metal, because this is thin, it is flimsy. So just giving it something to bite on. But he's gonna go ahead and try to get a better bit, and having a new bit that we'd probably already be done with this by now.
Yeah, I thought this was a newer one, but that one looks a little high. See it?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe just come down in the middle a little bit.
This is tough.
Dunzo. All right, guys, we're back. We have got it figured out. We will admit when we're wrong, right?
Yep.
So the 5/30 seconds rivets, too small. There was not enough bite to go through the plastic, the metal, and then you know how the rivet pinches itself on the backside. It was just not enough there. So we stepped it up to a 7/30 seconds, and that was perfect. And then that rivet size, just so you guys know, was the 3/16 rivet by half. So if you do it just like that, you're not going to have any issues. And now what we did is we have, is it raining?
Yeah.
Oh, just started raining on us. We were out there painting the bracket, so we went out there and grabbed it real quick. But we have the JB weld on there. We have it all in the back, so it should come in and fill those holes in. But I think what we're going to do is just mix up a little more, right?
Yeah, and
Put a coat over the top of those remaining holes, and then this guy here is buttoned up. So we're going to go ahead and get that mixed up.
Dude, this stuff dries quick.
It does. So it sets quick, but I do believe for it to be completely, it cures in 30 minutes. So within 5 minutes, it's almost not workable. So after 30 minutes, this thing is pretty much where you want it to be. I do, though, recommend maybe just letting it sit. We're not putting this back on tonight, right?
No.
So in our case, it works out fine. Let it sit overnight and just give that extra curing time, and you can't go wrong. So mixing up another little bit. And again, we'll put it over the top of this and get that all filled in. So what he's doing here, again, with this is supplied by JB Weld, that little popsicle stick looking thing, is just taking the second little batch there and then filling all that in. So this should primarily be stronger than it not being broken, but obviously it's going to look like that when you're done.
You won't see it. It tucks up.
No, this tucks so far under there you can't see it. But again, just I don't want to beat a dead horse. Be careful drilling the hole. You don't want to puncture a hole in it, and you don't want the bit walking over the outside of it, and then now you're going to repair a drill mark on the good side of the bumper.
I wanted to get this done before we got the bumper painted. This way, we don't have to mess with a freshly painted bumper.
Yeah, so in our case, it worked out because the guy that is going to be doing the paint work is clearing up some time for us. He's got a couple jobs that he's finishing up right now. And the bumper, the mirrors, the hood, and not the rear bumper, right? We're going to try to save that.
I want to try to save it before all this goes to paint.
And then, so theoretically, front bumper, hood, side mirrors, and before we drop the rear bumper off, we're going to try to save it. If not, then we'll add that one to the pile too. So again, we'll let this sit. I got 2 coats over there on those brackets. They look good. We're just going to double check them, and then we can kind of start working on that heat exchanger. So what we kind of were talking about and deciding to do was, instead of drilling them, maybe just take some of that leftover JB weld there and just add it on the inside of that.
One of these had a small crack in it.
Yeah, so it's very thin plastic that these brackets are on. So I can see why they make the repair kit for these.
Terrible design.
Yeah. So he's just putting them in there again along that seam, and then this will harden up and just give it that little extra.
On my silver car, they were cracked, but not all the way through. So I was able to do this, and it worked.
Good. So we're gonna button this up here, put the bumper off to the side, and then start working on another piece. that side-by-side comparison of the factory heat exchanger and the Afco. It is a world of difference on size. So it's almost very close to being double the thickness between the aftermarket and the factory one. So this, you guys will see some cooler temps coming out of this. There's a whole write-up on these heat exchangers. Can't think of the guy's name. He actually did a really good review on adding the fans, not adding the fans, and the fans on these things literally did absolutely nothing. The extensive test he did was actually really good. You can find that video on YouTube. If I can find it before I post this video, I'll add in the link. If not, look at it. It's actually quite, the test he did was actually really good. So you really don't need to go with the fans on these, especially if you're just going to be running the factory pump. But you can get into, on the cooling side of these cars, you can really get into trying to do some research and trying to get those temps down. But right off the bat, though, you can see this is going to do a lot better than that. So we're letting the brackets dry up a little bit. Then we're going to get them mocked up and get this thing back together. All right, you guys are seeing exactly what I'm seeing. What we ended up doing was on the brackets here, which are on the bottom, right? Mm-hmm. You have these rubber grommets that are on the inside of here. So the directions are calling that those little tabs fit through a hole. You will not see those holes until you remove this. So take these off, then you'll basically show there's 2 holes down there. You just line up the new brackets with the hole, and then that Afco little tab here fits right in there. So they kind of looks like they did that on purpose, which is great because it makes it a lot easier to get into. Now what we're doing is we're putting on that bottom bracket there, and then the hardware dude is right here, and get this all buttoned up. What you will notice on the old heat exchanger here is that you have essentially a hose on each side of the heat exchanger. On the Afco one, both are moved to the passenger side, and because the heat exchanger did come with new hoses and some clamps, and we were a little thrown off. So essentially what you're doing is you're replacing the lines with the supplied rubber hose from Afco. So the bracket's pretty simple and easy to get on at this point. Once we figured that out, just come in here, bolt it down using the factory hardware. Zero modification, right? Yeah. Just, it bolts right in. And it does stretch out that bracket. So again, you can be as tough with it as you need to. You're not going to hurt it. And just get that bolted down, and then we're going to work on getting this thing buttoned up. All right, so we have that bumper on. I'm sorry, the bumper. We have the bracket on the back side of this support bar here. And guys, probably it is a little easier if you have 2 people, because I was holding this bracket kind of together, pinching it so you get the factory, are those 8s? Yeah, the factory 8s in there. But again, there was no fabricating of it. There was no having to drill anything out. It simply just bolts together. It is double the thickness of the other heat exchanger. So again, we just have to pinch that together. There's those 2 hooks on the back. They hook right into the back of the crash bar here. And now all he's doing is putting in the 8 mils on that other bracket. And at this point, your heat exchanger is back installed on the car. Now, what we have to just look at real quick, and we'll let you guys know what we come up with, is, again, it came with these supplied rubber hoses here. So we're just gonna, because it looks like it deletes these factory lines here. So we just gotta plumb these up, trim them. I'm assuming we have to kind of cut them to size. And then once we do that, we'll obviously film that for you guys as well. So that this will be a quick how-to, start to finish, on installing that Afco heat exchanger. But as you can see here, this is where those factory lines would go into. And really, this is all you need to disconnect, plus that bracket, and then you can have that heat exchanger, the factory one, off the car real quick.
You want to do it or you want me to?
I'll get under there and do it. All right, guys, we're back. And good news is it looks like we do not have to trim the hoses. They come pretty much the size that you're going to need. So the top one, the top hose there on the heat exchanger is going to go to the pump up front here. The bottom one is going to kind of wrap around and go behind that radiator support. So what we're going to do is go ahead and just get these plumbed up. Again, it does not look like you have to trim these at all, so that makes it super easy. And then we'll get this all back together. All right, so this bottom one was here. Yeah, this is a nice, easy upgrade. I think a little too tight. You know, if you're on that like kind of DIY kick, something like this is definitely doable. Just, I don't know, what do you say, Ron, on a 0 to 10 hard scale? Probably a
1 or 2.
A 2, yeah, if that. So
worst part's probably getting the bumper off.
Yeah, and that was not much of anything. It's only a couple bolts. But on this here, though, you know, we didn't use anything fancy, no fancy tools, all hand tools. So if you're going to do something like this yourself, it's really convenient, really easy, and you can save some money instead of taking it to a shop and having them charge you X amount of dollars to do something like this one. Again, this is legit, super easy. Again, we're just going to run this back the way the factory one was, so we don't have to essentially worry about it getting stuck anywhere. So just like that, we got this this first hose on. I'm just taking a little second, kind of more like the detail side of it, just getting it lined up, so if we ever do have to come in here and mess with it or take it off, or, you know, the clamp is pretty much where it needs to be. Oh, and we're doing it in the rain, right?
Yeah.
So again, this shouldn't be a big deal for anybody. And just tighten it down till it's, you know, good and snug. I don't think this thing pushes off a lot of pressure, but I still don't. Yeah, that's good and tight right there. Where's that second one at, brother? This it?
Sorry. You got it.
Good. So this kind of has that S curve. And I'm going to put it in this way. So you're just going to put it in. And again, you can't really mess this one up. It looks like it really kind of sets in there one way. Raindrop right in my ear. That's nice. Hey, do you know how much? Do you remember how much this thing cost?
It was like $329, I think, something like that.
So a really good upgrade, and it looks awesome too on the front of the car because it does fill in that bottom of the bumper there. I have the one that says SVT with the stencil. Ryan says, I don't like the stencil. So we went with the bare one. Okay,
Let me put this in the bed of your truck.
Do what? Yeah, you can throw it back there. Yeah, we'll take that for the Bronco. So then all we're going to do here is just finish putting this thing back together, check the fluid level. We did lose a little. And get this thing back on the car and get it running. Today's video, guys, real quick, easy on just some simple how-to stuff. The next couple of videos coming are going to be a little more in depth with, you know, maybe you guys want to get into taking off the supercharger, seeing how we do that, to lowering the car, doing the brakes. That stuff's that's more tedious than it is hard, because there's a little bit that goes into it. But this right here, super beginner, type of job right here. I think really, if you're watching this, you guys have a Terminator, this is easy. This shouldn't be a big deal. I thought we'd have to cut these lines, these hoses. Not at all. So, and again, I wouldn't waste your money on the big expensive one with the fan and all that, and the GT500 one. Just get you guys one of these ones. Simple, it's easy, it bolts on, and you don't have to take it from me. You can go watch that video. He does a really good in-depth test on having the fans, and it legit. You saw that video, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything for the car, right?
Right.
So, all right, guys, we have this all buttoned up here. We're gonna do some testing, making sure we get enough fluid, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, obviously, when you're taking anything off, especially hose-wise or coolant-wise or whatever, with the lines, you know that you're gonna lose some of the fluid. So we came back here, just topped it off, again, on these factory expansion tanks. We're gonna burp it, yeah, but on these factory expansion tanks, there's a level there. So we have some, we got some 50/50 from O'Reilly's here, and essentially we're just gonna burp it, see where it needs to be. It might be fine. The lines, again, that we did lose a little bit, so we'll kind of walk you through that too. If there's anything that we kind of run into, we'll start filming it and then let you guys know. All right, so we got it started. Right, so don't get nervous if you turn it on and you don't see the pump. You guys see right now, it's just sucked it down. So don't get nervous if you don't see it kind of gurgling right away. Give it a second for that to kick on. The system will kick on, and just top it off as it goes. Like, you're getting pretty much a little bit more. And you can see the pump kick on. You'll see it move. That's literally the install in here. The only thing I forgot to show you guys is here they do supply some zip ties just to clean that up. So we just went ahead and put the zip ties on there. We put one there kind of up in the front and then one in the back. But that's legit, the install for that heat exchanger. We're gonna let this run, see if it drops anymore. I doubt it. It seems to be pretty good right now. And then we're gonna button this up, guys, and we'll finish this video off. All right, you guys, we're done for the night. Probably, I don't know, what'd you say, an hour and a half, 2 hours tops with putting in the new heat exchanger, topping off the coolant, getting the lines all ran, and then coming in here and fixing the broken tab. Driver's side was broken on here, and then you guys kind of saw over there on the passenger side. We just added some to reinforce it. That one was good. But a lot more coming on this. You guys know his silver car is pretty much done. Little stuff here and there, but for the most part, we're really going ham on this one and getting this one kind of where he wants it to be, really quick too. So we got a whole table of parts on there, over there to do, and then got a whole table of parts over here that we're going to try to make a good handful of videos out of, so you guys have some cool stuff to watch. But catch us on the next one. Drop us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, and we will keep pumping these Terminator videos out. And if you guys are going to go ahead and kind of maybe fix your tab, let us know. Also, again, you can get, I think it's LMR, that 50 resto, and get those tabs. But again, guys, Chris, SVT Garage. As always, we appreciate it. You guys have been really chiming in on all these videos, so we love it. We appreciate it. We're going to keep pumping out the content. Like, follow, subscribe, and we'll keep them coming. It's Chris, SVT Garage.